And at the very end, you stay on, I will be sharing a link where if you are interested in selling your cookbook and want some just one-on-one help, you can set up some time to talk with Carly or myself, and we will go over everything individual on your project so that we can get you started. But without further ado, I want to introduce Rhonda. And let's see, if you want to, you can set your view. Let's see, there's a way to set it where you see her really big, and they've changed the set. Oh, view, top right corner, there's a view. And if you want to click speaker, you'll be able to see Rhonda really big so that you can have the full experience. But Rhonda, I will hand it over to you. Welcome.
All right, thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad to have you guys all here. And I initially decided to create my cookbook because I became a certified health coach, and I have a group of clients who all were really asking me for the cookbook, to be honest. Um, so I lost 120 pounds, and that's what inspired me to become a health coach. And it's now been 4 years that I've been able to keep that weight off. So that's super exciting. For me, I've been a traditional yo-yo dieter my whole life. So I've gone from one plan to the next to the next. And although I could lose weight, I could never keep the weight off. So the fact that I've been able to keep 120 pounds off for 4 years, eating the recipes that I put in my cookbook is what it has just worked incredible for me. So to date, I have sold 203 cookbooks and made almost $4,000 in profit from doing that. So it's definitely something that if you're looking just for some additional income, and if you have a cookbook that you've already prepared, or if you're in the midst of working on it, I would encourage you to just do your best to try to sell it. I'm just curious, just so I can get an idea, how many of you, you can just kind of raise your hand, how many of you have already created a cookbook? Oh, good. Okay. And are you all interested in potentially selling your cookbooks? Yeah. Okay, awesome. So I'll show you my cookbook. I'm not sure what design you all chose. I picked two of their binding styles. I have the hardcover is one that this is called the hardback case bound. Is that right? Okay.
Damn, you
And then
got
I
it.
have the soft wire-o, which I love because it's got the wire here. This is actually the one that I use, so it's got food all over it and everything else. But the beautiful thing is I picked the glossy paper, and you can see like every page I chose to put a picture. And I feel like for me personally, that's extremely helpful when I'm looking at recipes in a cookbook. I want to be able to see what the end product is supposed to look like. So I recognize what it is, and it kind of inspires people to actually, make the food if they can see what it looks like. So if you're still in the midst of making your cookbook, if you can do pictures, and I chose to actually use real photos instead of stock photos, just because my all of the recipes are very particular because of the fact that they're part of this plan that I have for myself and my clients. And so I wanted to make sure that I showed actual photos. I know they have the option to use the stock photos, and if you can find one that matches up with what your recipe would look like, then by all means, I'd say do it. For me personally, my cookbook is titled Beyond Keto because my plan is a keto style plan. But it's not traditional keto. There's a lot of differences. So it's I've got kind of like an approved list of foods that either, yes, it's approved, or no, it's not for my clients. And every recipe in my cookbook only includes the approved foods. So what else did you want me to share before?
I would love, I'll jump in. And guys, I wanted to, there's two great ways. If you have a question, you can either pop it in the chat and I can read it to Rhonda, or if you'd like, you can use the bottom. There's a react, raise your hand, and then we'll call on you, and you can unmute yourself on the mic and ask your question. But I'll get us started. So Rhonda, walk us through kind of the beginning of your journey. What you decided to make a cookbook. Kind of how did you find Create My Cookbook? why did you go with Create My Cookbook? And then walk me through kind of what did you do to get started? Don't mind.
Okay, great. So it was actually one of my clients who found Create My Cookbook. And all of my clients had been asking me because I coach in a Facebook group. So prior to having the cookbook, I was posting all of the recipes in the Facebook group. Facebook is wonderful, except that they make changes. And when you're running your business in it, I don't know if anybody else has done that, but you are at their whim because if they choose, like I had everything organized in my Facebook group according to topics. So I had a topic for soup and breakfast and dinner and dessert and all the different things, and all the recipes were neatly organized. Well, then Facebook decided to take the topics away. And so then people could still search, you can, and to this day, they can still search waffles, for instance, in the Facebook group, and it'll pull up all the posts with the waffles. But it also pulls up everybody, anytime anybody ate waffles and posted it, it's going to pull that up. So it became very hard for clients to be able to find recipes easily. And a lot of people, especially the ladies that I work with, tend to be, I'm 50 years old. They're probably between 50 to 70. Some of them who are, they're not as tech savvy and they don't want to have to sit and find things electronically. They want to just be able to pull out their cookbook and make their meal. So a lot of them were requesting it. Well, one of them found Create My Cookbook and sent it to me. So I started researching it, and that's when I really had the idea, you know what, I need to just move forward with this. So I started looking into, I'll be honest, I checked a bunch of different publishers. I looked at the option of like having someone publish it and selling it on Amazon. I looked into tons of different things, and I kept coming back to Create My Cookbook because one, they handle all of the inventory. You don't have to have a big supply of cookbooks that you're not even sure you're going to sell, right? Sitting in your family room or hidden away in your office or something. The second reason is that that they do all the shipping too. You don't have to worry about figuring out shipping costs. They handle all of the customer service issues with my clients. So whenever, and just so you know, it's not just my clients who've purchased it. I've had people outside of clients as well purchasing, but I just give them the customer service email address, and anytime that there's an issue, like they can't with each of my cookbooks, I decided to include free but included in the cost the e-cookbook that they offer. And my clients have absolutely loved that. It makes it nice because when they go to a grocery store, they've got it right on their phones, or if they want to put it on their iPad, they can do that. If they're traveling, they still have access to the cookbook. So the way that I structured my pricing, I didn't allow for people to only solely purchase the e-cookbook. That's one option. The beautiful thing too with Create My Cookbook is that they are so flexible in that they let you decide, do you want to sell just the e-cookbook? Do you want to sell it as an add-on with your other cookbook? You can choose all of that. And so I chose to include it with it. And it's just been fantastic. The way the response that I've received from people regarding both the app that they have. It's called Cookbook Reader. And I don't know if any of you have seen it, but it's really cool because you can actually flip through the cookbook on that app as if you're looking at the actual pages, or you can search specific recipes. And so you can star certain recipes and make them your favorites. So you can do all kinds of things with that Cookbook Reader app. So I highly encourage that. What I've done to help my clients out is and to help me, so I'm not having to re-type the same information. In the notes on my phone, I just keep a little blurb that says, here's some instructions for downloading the app. And I give them some helpful tips like, download it on the device that you want it to be on. So if you want it on your phone, don't download it on your computer, do it on your phone. then, you need to, I tell them first, you have to log in with the username and email address or email address and password you use to purchase the cookbook. So I just walk them through, and I've actually taken some screenshots of the process of how to activate the e-cookbook. And then I just send that out with the screenshots, and it makes it easy for them to be able to download it. So, did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. I think I want to see if anybody had any questions or raise their hand, because I've got a whole list of questions for you, but I don't want to. Hey, everyone good? Pop in if you have a question. Walk me through your recipe collection. How did you get your recipes? Where are they from? Walk us through the process of getting them into the book. I'm excited to hear about that.
Okay. So for me, it was probably a little bit easier than most people to create a cookbook because I had so many recipes that I had already created, and I had them all in that Facebook group. So I actually was able to just copy and paste from Facebook, where I had put the recipe into the program that Create My Cookbook uses. And as far as coming up with the ideas, most of the time, I'll be honest, you all may be ones who absolutely love cooking. I am not one who actually likes to cook. So the thing is that I love to eat. I'm being totally honest here. So I love to eat enough that I'm willing to cook, because I know I can't go out and purchase, for instance, I make an approved keto style sugar-free cookie cake with buttercream frosting. I can't have that, going out somewhere, but I can make it at home and enjoy it. So anytime that I'm feeling somewhat deprived or feeling like, oh, I really miss, for instance, we were on a road trip, and my family wanted or they wanted to stop at Panda Express. My favorite thing in the world used to be orange chicken. So I came up with a recipe of how to make orange chicken, but in a healthy way. So I use pork rind panko. I use some mayonnaise and egg. I dip the chicken, dip it in the pork panko, fry it up in some olive oil. Then I've mixed together an orange marinade. G Hughes is the brand I use, that's sugar free, and an orange marmalade. And the combination of those two makes the right consistency to be like an orange sauce. So I'll put that on top of the chicken. But it's things like that. Like, it's whenever throughout I've been following this healthy lifestyle for 5 years now. It took me a year to lose 120 pounds. And so it's been 5 years, though. Over those 5 years, whenever there's something that I'm missing, like cookie cake was one of my very favorite things in the world. So instead of feeling sad and deprived that I can't eat cookie cake, I'll figure out a way to make cookie cake so it's approved. And one of the biggest differences with my recipes versus traditional keto recipes is that those typically have almond flour or coconut flour. I have found that those will stall your weight loss. Just as a little tip, if anybody's looking, none of you look like you need to lose weight, but but if you're looking for a healthy lifestyle, a great replacement for that is golden flaxseed meal. And so whenever a recipe calls for any type of flour, I substitute the golden flaxseed meal, which is just a superfood. It's got great omega-3s. It's got tons of nutritional benefits. So I'll use that instead. And that's what I use in the cookie cake. And it's delicious. I make waffles and pancakes and muffins, so I don't feel deprived. And so in the process of creating the cookbook, for me, I already had taken photos of a lot of the foods, because in my Facebook group, every time that I post a recipe, I always take a picture. Actually, every time I eat, I take photos of my meals and I post them in the group. So, so I had tons of the photos to be able to throw into, the Create My Cookbook system. But I just have to say, Carly was the person who helped me. I don't know if any of you have worked with Carly, but she did an amazing job of just any question I had, I could reach out to her. She was accessible, and I would send her my ideas, and she actually on Canva created like my cover for me. I gave her the logo that I wanted, and she came up with this and then sent it back to me. So she was just tremendously helpful. Like anytime I've needed help in any way from anyone at Create My Cookbook, they've been completely accessible.
Hey Beth, that's like Carly. She manages our corporate accounts as well as helps work with some customer support. So if you've ever written to support, or if you've had time or set up time with corporate, you've probably spoke with Carly. She really wanted to be here today. She is under the weather. So but she's delightful. And at the end of this call, I'm going to give you a link where you can sign up for a call if you have interest in selling your cookbook. It'll be with myself or Carly. So be great. Rhonda, any questions? Any other questions? And I'm gonna keep going because I've got a whole list. Hey
Are you
guys.
able to add photos from your phone? Like take them with your phone and then add them to the cookbook?
Yeah, absolutely. You can if you had that, like if you were on a MacBook and you could take from your MacBook from the photos, you could do that. If you're working on the computer, you could log into your account on your phone and just upload the pictures directly from there. Or if you had, there's a lot of different ways, but that wouldn't be an issue at all. And I want to take a second. I love that Rhonda's book is full of photos. It is. Most people, hi, Dr. Keisha. Yes, today's camp is on seller services. So if you're looking to sell a book, that's what today is about. Sorry, going back to the photos. Most books, cookbooks, they're not always full of photos or photos of just food. Sometimes it might just be what I suggest to people, especially if they don't have photos of their food and they just really want some to make it look to add some color, is a lot of times we have stock photos and you can add photos of ingredients. So if you're working on a cookie cake and you're using the flat flour, you could have a beautiful picture of flour. Or if you're working on a salad, you could have a beautiful picture of some vegetable. So if you have the photos of your food, fantastic. Love to add it in, but not everyone has that. So that's just kind of one quick thing. Yes, Sherry, if she has hers set up to where if you purchase a hard copy of the book, an e-cookbook is included. So any other questions? Keep going. All right, Rhonda, I think this is one that everyone's going to be very excited about. Walk us through how you've marketed and sold your cookbook.
Okay. So one of the very first things I did as soon as I had the cookbook completed and received my copy, which is what's nice, they'll send you a copy for you to be able to look through and make sure that everything's exactly the way that you expected it to look. Once that was finished, then I created a book signing where I actually contacted different newspapers in the area, let them know that I was doing this, let them know that I had lost 120 pounds, that I was a certified health coach, that I created this cookbook. And I held it at a restaurant. I contacted the restaurant, reserved the room. And I think I had maybe 75 people who came, which I was thrilled with. And those people either had already purchased a cookbook from me. That was the beautiful thing too, is that I didn't have to have a huge inventory, like I said. So they had already purchased and brought their cookbook with them for me to sign. Or I did at that time, I think I bought like 10 of them to take with me in case people wanted to buy them. And I think I sold all that I had in my inventory. I probably could have gotten more and sold them too. So, but that was one big way that I marketed. Another way is just through using social media. I went live on my business page. I have a Real Health Resolutions is the name of my company. And so I have a business profile and a personal profile. From my business profile, I went live and I actually showed the cookbook. I I was screenshotting my phone to show the e-cookbook. I showed the differences between the two binding styles that I'd selected so people could see, for me, I'm a very visual learner. I want to be able to actually see what it is that I'm purchasing. So for me, showing that was important and being able to, show them the differences between the two versions. Nice thing too with Create My Cookbook, they allow you to set up the pricing for your cookbook based on what profit margin you want to make and everything. So I was able to choose how much, more it was going to cost in essence for the hardcover versus the soft cover. And then, and to be honest, it's funny because I have both, this is my hardcover, but the one I use the most is the soft cover. If anybody's looking for ideas of which one to choose, this is great just because it lays flat like this. So, or you can, flip the page like this. So to me, it's just super handy. The hardcover one is a little bit more expensive too. So I feel like most people tend to buy my soft cover of the cookbooks. But what was your question again? I'm so sorry.
About marketing, and I'm gonna kind of, I know her answer because I've heard it. But the part that I love the press release and having the book signing. The part that I love is you mentioned you have it in your notes. You just kind of have a blurb that you share with people as you are organically talking to them, and they're like, "Oh, I'd love your cookbook. I'd love you to tell a little bit more about that."
Yeah, actually, she had me put that in the chat before we got started, where it's just a little blurb that says, I lost 120 pounds eating the recipes included in my Beyond Keto cookbook. The cookbook is filled with healthy recipes for breakfast, lunch, desserts, appetizers, sides, and so it's already typed up with the link that they can use. And so I have also like a little referral blurb that I send to clients for them to be able to send to people. And part of that referral blurb includes my website. It includes a link to like a 2-minute video that tells more about my story. And it includes the link to the cookbook. So any way that you can make it easy for yourself like that. I love using notes in the phone because I always have my phone with me. So I might be out at the grocery store and somebody sees me buying golden flaxseed meal and it opens a conversation. And I say, oh, I make a bunch of stuff with this. If you're curious, I've got my cookbook, and then I can just copy paste and I'll just get their, cell number and text it to them. And it just makes it easy to be able to quickly, send it to anybody that you run in contact with.
I love that. I think it's so perfect and it's great because it's just so organic and conversation can come up anywhere. We have a couple questions I'll answer. Donna, your question about shipping and handling. There are several ways that you can sell your book. You can order in bulk, and then you manage the fulfillment of your books, which would be you would just have it shipped to your house, or to wherever you'd like them shipped. You can also do what we have on demand, which is what Rhonda does. And the customer, when they purchase their book, they actually get to select the shipping method that they want. So they pay for their own shipping. It's not something that you have to deal with or handle. If you have more questions and you're interested, again, I'm going to put a link in just a minute for you to sign up for some time, and we can go over all the individual nitty gritty on your book on that call. Beth, your question is on paper. So there are, I'll go over paper and then I'll let Rhonda jump in and talk about her experience. We have 3 paper options. There is a 70-pound matte-like finish. So it's not glossy. That's our standard paper, great paper. The second one we have is premium paper, which is a 100-pound gloss finish. That one is fantastic if you have photos in your book. It is it's shiny, the photos look really great, bright, a little bit heavier. And then the third option is we have a Write in the Rain paper, and this is really great for books that are going to get messy. This is spill proof, waterproof paper. It's resistant, and it actually, I'll tell you guys a funny story. It looks very similar to our standard paper, so much so that first time I ordered a book with it, I fussed and said, "You guys printed with the wrong paper." And I said, "No, just throw some water on it, because the water will bead right up." And I did. And the water beat it right up. And so it looks like the standard paper, but it's magical. The water just sits right on top. You can wipe it clean. So it really depends on the goals for your book, which paper I would suggest. I think Rhonda has tons of pictures. I think the premium is perfect for her. I'll let her kind of talk a little bit more about the paper.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that either binding style, you can still have that premium. So like I was saying, even in my soft cover book, and it's funny you mentioned about having the products, because I actually have, if you can see, that's palmini pasta. So this is showing a recipe that or that's palmini mashed, which is hearts of palm that's mashed. But I show my pictures of me making the what is this one? This is the shepherd's pie, and then I show the product down below, because it is, I think it's helpful too to be able to see that if you're going shopping, so you know what it is that you're looking for. But in both, I can show you, let's see, that's page 55. So let me just go in my hardcover one and show you the same page. So it's the same glossy paper, which makes it nice. So either version, they're getting, you know, good, the pictures come out nice and crisp. And, you know, like I said, actually the paper itself in my cookbook has not gotten that messy. It's more the edges, like the sides that have gotten messy, but I mean, there's, you know, it will get this page, you can kind of see there's a little bit of something on there, but even when food gets on it, it still keeps its shine. It's a nice thick texture to it. So I've been super happy with it for my own use, and I use my cookbook literally every day. So I've been very pleased with the quality of it.
Fantastic, thank you. Dr. Keisha, I saw your message. As far as the price of your book is very dependent on how many pages, how many books you're selling. If you, again, when I'm going to pop that link in there, if you want to sign up for some time, we can go over your book, what your goals are, and get you some kind of quotes on what that would be. Let's see. Are you able to move your you can move it to Amazon. There's a way to do that. You'll purchase in bulk and then you'll work with Amazon to sell, but we can get you additional information if you have interest in selling on Amazon. Most people are really happy with the on-demand fulfillment just because they're not having to invest so much of money up front to purchase their book, and they don't have to manage the inventory. But if that's something you want to do, we're very happy to help you with that. All
The
right.
profit margins I found too are a lot greater if you just allow Create My Cookbook to do it on demand versus if you do it through Amazon, because you have to pay for fulfillment and everything else with Amazon. And if you just have Create My Cookbook do it, you're going to end up making more money per cookbook in the long run from the research that I did. One thing sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to mention too, as far as photos, every single photo in my cookbook was taken on my phone. So none of them were taken with a camera. You know, it's because that's what I have with me all the time. And so I always take pictures of the photo of the process too. Like when today I was making a chicken dish. And so I showed the chicken where I sliced cuts in it to allow the seasonings to get in there easier, sprinkle salt and pepper on it. But I showed a picture of that. And then next to it, a picture of the bowl that had the topping, which was cream cheese and mayonnaise and onions and cheese and bacon and all this yummy stuff. And then you just coat it and then bake it with that on there. But I always show what it looks like in the process right before it goes in the oven and then when it comes out, because to me that just makes it easier. I think again, the more you can make it easy for your customers, if you're going to be selling it, especially to be able to visualize what it looks like throughout the process of making it, I just think it makes it easier for them. So I always have my phone in the kitchen and I just snap the photos, and that's what I used for the entire cookbook.
I love that. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it open for any other questions from you. I've got one last question for Rhonda. I want to give everybody a chance to get their questions, and then I'm going to share the link for you to sign up for some time. All right, guys, let's see. I see. Can you just kind of show us maybe the index on the are you asking like the table of contents for the recipes, Sherry?
Okay.
Beth is asking, were you able to include more than one photo on a page? Yes, you can. Beth, what she's probably making collages. You can do one photo, but she's making a collage and uploading it as a photo. If you need help with that, support can help you to show you exactly what to do that. And I'll put their email in the chat because they're super helpful.
So did somebody want me to show the table of contents and stuff?
Sherry wanted to
Okay.
see the table of contents. I
So
think she's interested in the
one
what
thing I did too was I showed my story. If I hold that up there, you can see that's my before and after photo of losing the 120 pounds, because that just kind of helps catch people's attention. And then I included this, which is a QR code to get to my website. And then it goes into the table of contents. So it lists the breakfast foods, the appetizers and sides. Then it goes into these are the main dishes and then the desserts. So, and then I did a cover page for each of like the different sections. So this is going into breakfast, and then it has all of my breakfast ones, and then in between sections, it's got let's see if I can get to the next one. Lots of breakfast items. Sorry. Okay, so then appetizers and sides, and it's got a picture there. So that way it just makes it clear that you're moving from one section to the next.
The price for her book, I think you charge 54.99 for the hardback case bound, and you charge 44.99 for the soft cover YRO. And again, if you have questions on pricing, it depends on the number of books that you're selling, number of pages in your books. We'll be happy to kind of get you some quotes if you have any questions as far as that. All right. Any other last minute questions? All right. I lied. I have two questions for you.
Okay.
First one is, do you, if someone was kind of on the fence and they were scared to put their cookbook out there, because it's kind of, you have to be brave to go out and promote a cookbook and author it and sell it. What would your advice be to them?
I would say just do it, because you never know. I mean, like I said, I am not someone who I would never consider myself a chef. The fact that I've sold almost $4,000 worth of cookbooks now, it's mind-boggling, because I wouldn't consider myself, I don't even enjoy cooking. So for me, this was taking a big leap of faith. But even last night, I have a free group that on Facebook called Beyond Keto. I named it after my cookbook. It's the Beyond Keto Facebook group. And so when people join that, I do live sessions. Last night I did a live session about meal planning, and several of the people kept bringing up the cookbook, and just the comments in that session were so positive, like, oh, if you haven't bought this cookbook yet, you need to buy it. It's so much fun. The recipes are delicious. So you never know who's gonna, I mean, and some of these people, they're not even my clients. They're just in my free Beyond Keto group, and yet they have purchased and absolutely love the recipes. So you never know. So I say just step out in faith. The one thing too is that you just have to do it. For me, it was on my mind, on my mind, on my mind. I wish I would have just started it sooner because you'll find once you get going with it, the momentum builds, and then before you know it, your cookbook's complete. And then just get out there and start promoting it. Use social media as such a great aspect to be able, it's a great avenue to be able to promote something like this. So utilize social media. If you have different organizations you're part of, you can ask if you can try to promote it within there. If you attend a church, you can promote it maybe as part of something at the church. You can do even little like cooking get-togethers where you could have people come and then you prepare different meals from your cookbook to give them a chance to taste it before they purchase the cookbooks. So there's tons of different ideas of things that you can do to be able to promote it. But the big thing is just do it. Just get started. That would be my biggest piece of advice.
That here's the last question for you. So should we be expecting volume 2?
Absolutely. Yes. I am so excited. And a lot of my clients actually want to join in and have their recipes included. So it'll, if say Rita gives me she's got a recipe for these pastries that are, fit in with our plan. So it'll be Rita's pastries, and then so-and-so's whatever, and we'll have different ones from different people. The nice thing about that too is that if I know if it were me personally and I had my recipe put in a cookbook, chances are I'm going to buy that. And so by including other people to participate with you, they're probably going to purchase. So that kind of gives you some built-in sales by doing that as well. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to get going on number 2.
Oh, very exciting, very exciting. Beth, you get a question on the promotion code. When you set up an on-demand to sell your book, you have a special link that you can give to people, and it goes directly to the page so that they can purchase your book. All right, guys, we have a few more minutes. If you have questions, pop them in. I'm going to pop in the chat a link to my calendar. What I want you to do is, if you have any interest at all, you're thinking about selling your book, you have a book ready to go, you're just pondering the idea, I want you to click that link, go ahead and set up some time to talk with me. And we're going to go over, we'll come up with a plan for you to get your book finished and start promoting it and selling it. So go ahead, click that link and sign up for a time. And we'll give everybody just a right. I see Dr. Keisha, she's on there. She's ready. Let me get her. I see her shaking her head. There you go. We're gonna have Dr. Keisha on here in a couple of months, and she's gonna be doing the same thing, telling everybody how she did her book. Fantastic. All right. Well, any more questions? All right, guys. So what you should be expecting from me. You will get a replay email from me probably later this evening. It will have a replay of our conversation, so you can go back, hear what Rhonda had to say. I'll also include the link for you to sign up for some time with me to talk about your book and come up with a plan for that. If you have any questions in the process and you want to reach out to support at createmycookbook.com. Always very happy to help. And thank you again so much for being here. All right, Rhonda, I think that kind of takes everything up. I'm going to also post, and I saw a couple people talking, I'm going to repost your book just in case if they wanted to go see the reseller page, see a little word about you. I'll pop that in the link, and that'll be in the email as well.
Okay.
What a wonderful camp. Thanks everyone for joining. Excited to see you. We'll have another camp in 2 weeks, and I'll post that. I'll put the link to sign up for that as well in the replay email. All right, guys. Thanks, Rhonda. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.